Hey. What up? Hi. Let me put my glasses on. I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. Sunshiny day. What up? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How you doing? They sent me. Huh? What are you talking about? Hold on. Somebody texting me some crazy stuff. What you talking about? Don't understand. So yeah. I don't know what that person's talking about. You know how sometimes people be sending you stuff, you be like, what the world? What are you talking about? So we're going to give some people some time to come on. I know it's early. What is it, 8:20? Greetings. Thank you. Where everybody at? I guess because it's early. Right? All my members on here. Baruch you. Hey, Margaret. Hi, Vince. It's Vince. So how many members I got on here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 6 members on here. Hi, Lachelle. How you doing? Grand Rising. See, I had to come on early so I could have enough time to tell y'all all the prophetic words and visions. So I could get them out. Oh, it's 7:20 in Texas. Oh yeah, y'all. I thought y'all was 2 hours behind us. So you 1 hour behind us. You 1 hour behind us. Oh. Well, I don't celebrate birthdays because Daddy said they're pagan and you're idolizing yourself. But I will tell you, happy season. And may your next 12 months be better than your last 12 months in Yeshua's name. Oh, 1 hour difference. Okay. I'm doing good. How you doing? Hi, Deandra. So how's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? I'm just waiting for some more people to come in. I know it's early, but I had to come on early so I could give y'all, all the stuff the Lord want me to share. But before I do that, I just want to say, y'all, we as the church, we got to start praying harder. This world is going bonkers, man. The devil trying to put this world in a handbasket. Man, a lot of people is just going through stuff that I know, and they're texting me and calling me or emailing me or Instagramming me, and people are just going through so much. And then some of them are going through financial issues, like the devil is putting burdens on them where they got to pay. One of my friends paid thousands of dollars for something for their house. I'm like, what the world, Daddy? Then the stock market. But that was one of the prophecies, but it happened already. The Lord told me China was going to come to the table with Trump. And then I read last night that China got in touch with Trump and said they want to come to the negotiation table. I said, Daddy, I didn't even get a chance to say it. He just told me yesterday morning. And I was like, I didn't even get a chance to say it. Because I was going to come on yesterday, but I got busy. I got really busy. And I didn't come. So praise God for that. Because I was talking to God. I was like, Dad, I said, how you expect the stuff that you told me and others to come to pass? I said, because unless you going to touch somebody's heart to give us money to get the churches, to get the houses, the radio stations, the buildings, and all this. I said, you must gonna touch some rich folks' hearts out there and give us money, if not through the crypto or the stock. And then like a couple of my people got in touch with me yesterday and they was asking me to pray. One of them got to pay thousands of dollars for a water system because the house didn't have one. I'm like, Daddy, what the world? And then I was like, Daddy, give them all their money back. And then I had, a couple other people getting in touch with me for prayer. And then I just started talking to Daddy. I was like, Daddy, what the world is going on? I said, the devil is too busy. I said, what the world? I said, since the end of 2019, so the end of this year be 6 years, we've been going through this stuff. And it seems like it's getting worse. It seems like it gets better and then it goes worse. And he told me, he said, well, some of these things have to happen, Rosalind. He said, but you and my children are protected. He even said, most of our family members, even the ones that's living in gross sin. I'm like, all right, Daddy, I trust you. But it was just wearing on my heart yesterday, just seeing and knowing what people was going through. And then me being patient, waiting on Daddy to give me my house and to go home and this and that, my own church. I got a church. I'm saying a building. You know what I mean? And then he helped to encourage me. I happened to be on Instagram because I had a lot of messages from people on Instagram asking me for prayer and stuff like that, right? And sending me stuff. So I started scrolling and I came, what was it? YouTube. It was one of them. And I think it was Instagram, not sure. And oh, thank you, Marcus. Love you. And this lady testimony came. This man was sharing her testimony. And she had been waiting on God for a baby for like 15 years. And he kept telling her, because she's a prophet, he kept telling her she's going to have a baby, right? And then she said after God would tell her, years would go by, and then 2 years before she got pregnant, he told her that the baby was coming. He said, you're going to get sick and you're going to think you got the flu and you're going to go to the store and get medicine, but I don't want you to take the medicine because you're going to be pregnant. So she was like, another year went by, then 2 years went by, and then all of a sudden she started feeling sick, and she said she thought she had the flu. So she said she went to the pharmacy to get some medicine, and she was just about to put the pill in her mouth, and she heard God as clear as day. He said, didn't I tell you 2 years ago you was going to get sick and think you had the flu and not to take any medicine because you're pregnant? And she said she was running around the house praising God. And the reason why she was telling her testimony is this. Just like God talks to me and you, he will tell you periodically through your waiting process on his threshing floor, because that's where you're waiting. He will tell you periodically, yes, it's going to happen. Yes, I'm going to deliver you. Yes, I'm going to do this. Yes, the husband is coming. Yes, the wife is coming. Yes, the baby's coming. Yes, the house is coming, or the apartment, whatever it is you've been waiting on for over a decade. He's constantly encouraging you here and there and letting you know. But then years go by and you be like, but God, you told me 2-3 years ago you was gonna do it. And he was like, I'm gonna do it. And sometimes he'll tell you how he's gonna do it, and sometimes he won't, right? And then, like she said she got a little weary. She got tired of talking to God, asking him about the situation, and she didn't give up. She just gave it to him. She was like, God, I'm just going to give it to you. She said, because years keep going by, a decade and a half. She said, I'm just going to give it to you. And when it happens, right? And so, the moral of her testimony is God will constantly encourage us through our waiting on the threshing floor. He will constantly encourage us while we're in the wilderness. He will constantly encourage you. You could be ridiculed with demons in your body. They could be like trying to jack you up, mess you up, harm you, hurt you, block you. You could be dealing with witches for years, warlocks, sorcerers, whatever you're dealing with. You could be dealing with a harsh husband, a harsh wife. You could be dealing with wayward, terrible children. You could be dealing with a terrible mother-in-law, father-in-law, whatever. You could be dealing with a sickness and the hospitals can't find it, right? And God keep telling you throughout that period, he's going to deliver you. He's going to do it. He's going to do it. And then years go by and he still ain't done it yet, right? But here he come again telling you he's going to do it, right? So when I heard her story, I was like, wow, God. I said, that kind of sound like my story. You know, now I'm not waiting for no baby. Those days is over. I'm waiting for my church to be birthed, you know, my building and my house and this and that, right? And I was like, Daddy, that's the same thing you keep doing to me. You keep coming to me like every 2 years. In the past 15 years, going on 15 years, right? I said, you keep coming to me every 2 years and you keep telling me you're going to do this, you're going to do that. And then 2-3 years go by, nothing. And then here you come again, telling me you're going to do this, you do it. And here we is 15 years later and you haven't done any of those things. God has done a lot of my things he told me he was going to do for me, he has done for me. And a lot of prophecies he's sent to me by other prophets have come to pass. But it's just certain things that I've been waiting on for years, over a decade, right? And I said, Daddy, her testimony is just like me and many others. I said, I'm going to share a testimony. So sometimes we have to wait a good while. Now, to us, it may be 15 years in my case, but in Daddy's case, it's 15 days. Some of you could have been 10 years, 20 years, 5 years, 25 years, right? That you've been waiting on God to do his promise, right? And he hasn't done it yet, but he keeps assuring you through himself or through others that he's going to do it for you, right? And so basically, when you're on God's threshing floor, or you're in the wilderness stage, or you're in God's waiting room stage, it's not that he's taking years to do it. What happens is he has to remove a lot of different things before he can give you the promise. And then he has to get a lot of stuff out of us before he gives us the promise. And then we have to learn things on our own to help ourselves. So when he gives us the promise, we'll be able to maintain the promise and keep it, and the enemy can't come and take it, because a lot of people get promises and the enemy come and take it. So God takes so long sometimes because he want to make sure when he give it to you, he's going to give it to you and then some. And that you're going to be able to keep it and you won't be overwhelmed by it. Right? And then God is perfect timing. He's very strategic in his timing. Right? He could have said, okay, like me, 15 years. He could have said way before I even got right with him. He could have said, okay, I'm gonna give her house and her own church building in 15, 16 years, maybe 17 years, right? But I don't know that he gave that set time, right? I don't know that, but he keeps encouraging me every other year. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, and he keeps encouraging us that these things are going to happen because he know we can get weary. Although we're spirits, we're cocooned in a human body, and sometimes the flesh will get to you. And the devil, the angel in one ear and the devil in the other ear, talking about God ain't going to do that. Look how long you've been waiting. God ain't going to do that. If he was going to do that, he'd have been did it. Why he keep you waiting so long? Because he's trying to steal your promise from you. He's trying to make you not have faith in God. And if you lose faith in God, then it will stop God from doing whatever he's doing. It will delay your promise. And many of us have delayed our own promises. Right? And then he's strengthening you. He's not tempting you. He's testing you. He wants to see if you're really going to wait on him for these things. Do you really want these things? Do you really love him, or do you just want what he could do for you? He wants to see, although he already know you're going to go either two ways. He wants you to see what you're going to do, what two ways you're going to go. He wants you to grow closer to him. He wants you to be more mature in yourself. He wants you to love him more. He wants you to learn how to love yourself. He wants you to learn how to love people. He wants to get that anger spirit out you. He wants to make you content in what you have. He wants to make you he wants to deal with your temperament. He doesn't want you to rush to anger when somebody make you mad, especially when you're in the ministry. Oh, that happens every day, right? He doesn't want you to get angry. He doesn't want you to get covetous, because you see other people getting more than you. You see other people moving better than you. Look at me. I have 700,000 or something followers, right? And I barely get 15, 20% of y'all to watch my stuff. And then I go to other channels and they only have like 100 and something thousand, 200, 300, 400, 500,000, but they get 50 to 1,000 hits on a video. That would make a person covetous if they wasn't strong in the Lord. And I used to ask God, I'm like, God, why do I have all these followers, but only 15, 20% watch my stuff? He said, because they're sabotaging you. Not the followers, the people behind the channel. He said, they're sabotaging you. They're sabotaging you. I said, well, then you the only one that could fix that. So I said, I have to wait on you then to get rid of that sabotaging spirit. He says, they're ghosting you. He used the words we use. He said, they're sabotaging you. They're ghosting you. They're suppressing your channel. He said, so that's why you're on. And then he told me, remember I told y'all 2 years ago, he said, half my followers are foreign and don't even speak English. I was like, so then how did they find me? He said, through all those other videos I used to have that had millions of hits. Remember that? And remember when I would come on live, it would be like 20, 30,000, but they would be foreigners. And then there's a lot of foreigners on here. They keep asking me, can you, when you put your videos on, can you put captions on it? So some of my videos, I've done that, but I got to learn how to put the captions on permanently. So every time I make a video, they could see it. So I was like, that's the problem, because half of my followers are foreign, y'all, and they can't even speak English. And they came from when, y'all remember I had those videos would get 30 million hits, 20, and I wasn't making money off of YouTube then. 20 million hits, 10 million. I had videos that had 100 million and something hit, and they were foreigners. Because they were the kind of videos that you really didn't talk. It was like the cat videos, the adventure videos, prayers, stuff like that, right? But God told me what they're doing to my channels. Even on TikTok, they're suppressing me because I'm Christian. But my views have gone up a whole bunch because I stopped putting the hashtags. See, the hashtags work on YouTube, but they don't work on TikTok anymore since they got that AI automation, right? It confuses it. right? So I'm just here to tell you, all of you who are waiting on the Lord to do something for you, and you may have been waiting a decade or two or more, just know he's gonna do it. But it's the process. He has to get a lot of stuff out of us. He has to mature us, bring us closer to him, and he wants us to see who we are. We need to get the spirit of anger out of us. We need to have good temperaments. We need to become good people. We need to become good-hearted people. Sometimes when you're at your lowest and at your poorest, God will send people in your life for you to help. You may only have $100 to your name, and somebody else is worse than you, and God wants you to get him half. Will you do it? Will you do it from the goodness of your heart? And if you do, he will give you double, triple. Somebody could feel, you could be feeling really low right now, anxiety, stress, you name it, bad argument with your kid, with your spouse, right? And then somebody else come that's lower than you. Would you help them? Would you encourage them? Because sometimes when I'm encouraging y'all, I'm encouraging my own self. Not a lot, but sometimes when I'm encouraging y'all, I am encouraging myself. That is the best way to bring yourself up, to help encourage others who are maybe lower than you, feeling lower than you. You bring them up to where you are, and then both of you go sky high because you done encourage them. Many people don't know, when you encourage other people, you encourage yourself. Why do you think God told Job to pray for his 3 friends? God said, pray for your 3 friends so I won't have to kill them. And then I'll deliver you. Job prayed for his 3 friends, and it brought Job up, and he got deliverance, and his 3 friends got deliverance. And Job's wife got spared because she was going against God too. All because Job brought himself up and prayed like God told him to. So a lot of times your deliverance could be in other people. When you casting out demons, right? You could be like, while you doing that, you could be like, wait a minute. I think I was dealing. Or you don't even know you might have a demon. A couple of times I came on here, y'all, and I was doing deliverance for y'all, and I started yawning too. I was like, what the world? And then I've had guests on my TikTok that did deliverance, and y'all was getting mad deliverance. Then I was yawning. I was ducking, like, yawning. I was like, Daddy, what the world? So sometimes the deliverer will get deliverance. And that's how it works. Iron sharpens iron. You know what I mean? So you never know what demons could be trying to get in you or get around you, or you could have picked up a particle. Because sometimes it don't be demons, it could be particles that you're casting out. And you could have picked up a particle for somebody, or you got a good temperament. You don't get angry, but somebody could have teased you a little bit. You could have been like, you're getting on my nerves, and that was a little open door, and you got a little particle demon. And you need to get him out before he start growing. That's why when you come home every day, you be like, Father, forgive me for any sins I did today. If I got angry, upset, if I told somebody they got on my nerves today, if I rolled my eyes like, oh gosh, if I did any of that, Daddy, please forgive me and put my sin on blood sugar Jesus. And I cast out any particles of demons or demons trying to attach to me and get in me because of my errors. I command them to go to the foot of Yah to receive the destruction of judgment, and they can never come back, and nothing like them in Yeshua's name. Depart from me in Yah's name. Then I'll be like, Mama, fill me up. Would you, Daddy, and Yeshua, fill me up and remove any residual particles or anything out of me and fill me up with the blood sugar Jesus? I do it every day when I come home. Because when you out in the streets, you out in the hood. You out in the demonic hood. When you in them streets, you in the demonic hood. You know what I'm saying? You in the demonic hood, the demonic kingdom. And you could pick up stuff. You could pick up a demon. You can pick up particles. You can pick up a lot of stuff. So when you come in the house, you got to clean yourself off and out. Get in the habit of doing that prayer. Sis, write that down too. Because I'm trying to publish a prayer book this weekend, right? If you listen, sis. Hey, Brother Brandon. How you doing, sweetie? Hey, sis. Did you just hear me say write down them prayers? All right. So just know, all of you who've been waiting a long time like me for certain things from God, could be your deliverance, your husband, your wife, your kids, your house, your car, a church, school, money, finances, to move out of somebody's house and moving it, whatever it is, y'all, healing from sickness, just know Daddy gonna do it. Because he'll encourage us. And just know He gonna do it. And don't get convacious or jealous when you see others doing better than you. It's just their time. And it's not even that they're doing better than you, to be honest. It's just that we all have different time cycles and seasons that we get promoted and get deliverance and things come to us, and we all have different anointings. So your promises and your destiny and all that's supposed to come to you is based on your anointing, and it's also based on what God spoke over you before you incarnated or reincarnated on this earth. So if you see somebody doing better than you, like on social media or something like that, or their house is better, or you like me, I be praying for people and they be getting their house. I be like, what the world? But I don't do that no more. But I used to pray for people, and the apostle, you pray for me, and I got my house. Apostle, you pray for me, and I got this. Apostle, you pray for me, and you prophesied, and my man came. And I used to look at God like, you using me to do this, but what about me, right? And He used to say, what about you? He said, too much is given, much is required. Once He started telling me that, I stopped crying. I stopped getting upset. I mean, I would be happy for the people. I wouldn't get jealous of them, but I would be upset and sad because, He was using me to do it, right? But when He said, what about you? And then He said, too much is given, much is required. I stopped. So now when I be praying for people and they come back and I'll be like, I'll be happy for them. Honestly, from the goodness of my heart, I'd be happy for them. I even pray for them even more that they keep it and the enemy don't take it. And I don't question God anymore. I just be like, Daddy, my turn is coming. When I don't know when my turn is coming to get my husband or my house, my church, or this or that, but my time is coming. My turn is coming, and I'm gonna be right here, and I'm gonna be ready to receive, and the enemy ain't gonna take it. It's when you want to give it to me, so I will wait on you, Father. And the moment I started doing that, things got better for me in my life. My thinking changed, my life changed, and Daddy started opening up to me more than ever before. Because just because He talks to you, or you're a prophet or a seer, you're gonna keep going up levels. You're gonna start seeing more and more. If you're a seer or a prophet or audible prophet, you just hear God. Then you got some prophets, they just have senses, right? And then you got some that see in the spirit, and hear God. It's just going to keep going up more and more. You're not going to stay at the same level with God. Where I was 2 years ago with God, I'm way past that now. Because the Bible says He's an ever-moving God. So if He's an ever-moving God, then that means He's going to be ever-moving in your life. That means He's going to constantly elevate you. You're going to constantly go up. And your gifts are going to get stronger and stronger, especially if you fast every month, at least 3-5 times a month. Especially if you pray every day. You give God 2 hours or more of your time, however you could do it. You read the Bible once or twice a day, and you live your life according to God. You be obedient as you can. You repent. You do all these different things that He wants you to do. You will move up higher and higher. You'll start seeing stuff. And even some people who never even seen before, don't even know they're a prophet, their gifts will start coming out. Their gifts will start cultivating. Because I've had people say, Apostle, you pray for me and now I get dreams. I said that because you were meant to get dreams. You were meant to see the enemy was just keeping them from you for whatever reason. And now you repented or did what you did, or the curse is gone. And now you're able to see and hear in the spirit, like my book I got, right? And a couple of people told me already that they starting to see little things that they couldn't see before because of the book. So I was like, that's a good thing. And then the Akashic Records is going to help you. And the book about the quantum, I think that's available now on Barnes and Nobles. I got to put it on Amazon this weekend, hopefully. All right. So how many of you know God will use books? God will use knowledge. God will use information to open up your gifts, to cultivate your gifts, to pour anointing in you. Because if you're truly of the Lord and you're writing different kind of books, those books will anoint you. Many people tell me, your books are anointed. I'm like, I know, because God gave them to me. My own books help my own self. Do you know I go and order my books after I finish them? I already know what's in them. But I go order them and I read them my doggone self. I got my own prayer books. And I enjoy my own books. Ain't that something? I be sitting there, I'm like, Daddy, This my book, and I'm enjoying my own book. I'm like, Daddy, this my book. I'm praying my own prayer. You know, it feels good, you know, that you accomplished that, and then you enjoy it at the same time, right? So I just wanted to tell y'all that, all right? So be encouraged. Do not be discouraged because you haven't gotten what you want from God yet or what he promised you. It's coming. Remember, he's a God that they say he's a man that should not lie, but he is a God that should not lie. There's not a lying spirit in him. And what he says he's going to do, he's going to do it. He just takes his time. See, people go to the devil because it's like a microwave. He give it to him fast, but the devil will take your life fast too. And he will take his pound of flesh out of you fast too. But God, sometimes he takes his time. And then we go places and we see people get deliverance and you be mad or upset. But you don't know how long that person waited to get deliverance. I used to be like that. I would go to conferences. People would get delivered and then sometimes I wouldn't. Or sometimes I would a little bit. And I didn't understand. And then God told me, he was like, Rosalind, you don't know how long that person has been that way. And then I would see people, because I would go to the same conference, because this man used to have conferences in New Jersey every weekend. And I would go there and I would see ladies come back 7 and 8 and 9 and 10 times getting demons cast out of them because they had big hoopy earrings or they had like weaves in their head and they had makeup, false lashes and pants on, right? And they would be getting mad deliverance, and then I'll be crying because I'll be like, Daddy, why my demon don't come on? I was wearing wigs back then. I had stopped wearing the wigs, but I was wearing wigs back then. But I wasn't wearing makeup or lashes or pants anymore, or tight clothes. You know, I was very conservative, and I was like I am today. And I was like, Daddy, why? I'm not getting deliverance as fast as them. I said, look at how they dressing and stuff, and you delivering them. And he go. He said, how many times they done been back that you know? It was one girl about 7 times. He said, why you think she keep coming back? I said, I don't know. He said, because the demon keep coming back. I said, why the demon keep coming back? He said, her lashes, her earrings, her makeup, this and that, her disobedience. I said, oh. So, you know, he started making me understand why demons will keep coming back. And then he even told me, like, when he gave me permission to start wearing these lace fronts sometimes, well, a lot of times I wear them, but when I'm around the house, I don't have them on, right? I don't sleep in them, none of that. He taught me how to pray over them. And I taught y'all how to pray over them with some olive oil. You got to pray Psalms 91 and 103 over it. And then you got to get some, what do you call that water? pH balanced water. And you got to pray over that. And then you have to cut the covenants and all kinds. There's so much you have to pray over these things to get the demons out, to get the lineage of whatever person it was or persons, because sometimes it could be 3 different ladies' hair woven into one, right? Especially that the weave hair and the braided hair, and now they're saying the braided hair got 10 different chemicals in it that can cause cancer. I'm like, that's synthetic hair, not the human hair, synthetic hair. So, and I had gave I think it was like a year ago. This is one of my prayer books. So I had gave the ladies partial prayer of that. So you can't just be buying the wigs and weaves and getting braids and just slapping them on your head. And if God didn't give you permission to wear them, you should not be wearing them. And if you got a head full of hair, you don't need them. You know, back in the day, wigs used to be for cancer patients or women who had alopecia. Not everybody wearing them. You could, even Pat wore a wig one time and she got hair down almost to her booty. And I said, how'd you fit all that hair under that head? That wig, she was like, I just swirled it. I was like, what? Right? So, all right. So let me hurry up and give these. Okay, I told you about Father, the name Shil Mashiach. Please cover us in this world with the blood, shield, Jesus, and the fire of the Holy Spirit. I've been telling y'all for like what, 3-4 years now. And I had just said something to y'all, I think it was last week, about a disease. So the Lord wanted me to tell you again, in this spring and summer, they're going to try and bring a disease. So God said we have to pray for ourselves and our entire family, right? The disease they're going to try and bring is going to be worse than the COVID. Okay, you see over there in China how they got some disease and they dropping dead. I was seeing the videos for like a week. I said, Daddy, don't let that be the disease, because the COVID came from over there. It's in my prophecy book from years ago. I told you a disease was coming from China that was going to kill millions, and it happened. Right? So here we go again. The past week, all over the YouTubes and TikTok, they showing people dropping dead. And they don't know what the disease is. I said, Daddy, no. Do not let that come. So this disease is going to be a quick disease. It's going to be a mutation disease. People, when they get it, they're going to die so fast. And then some people, when they get it, it will mutate. It'll seem like they're getting healed, but then it'll mutate, go another way, and the patient could get worse. Right? I said, what kind of disease is this? Right? And I told y'all 4 years ago about people where I saw a vision. I know a lot of y'all remember about people dropping dead. It could be on here in one of these lives somewhere. And God said the only thing that can stop it, like I told y'all years ago, was prayer. Just like with COV, we see, and I told y'all, God said pray. And a lot of us are still here today because of that. Some of y'all might have got COVID, but God healed you from it, right? And some of y'all didn't get the juice, like he said. Now, guess what? For all of you who didn't get the juice, your blood is very expensive now. Do you know they got ads out there asking for people who did not get the juice to donate their blood because all the other blood is not that good because of the enzymes and the proteins and all that stuff that's in the blood now because of the juice. Now they looking for us. And they say it's only 35% of Americans that did not get it. 65% got the juice. Some got 2-3 juices, right? So it's only 35% with pure, they calling us pure blood, y'all. Who knew? Look at all the harassment and stuff we went through years ago when we was trying to tell people. I almost got my channel shut down twice, trying to tell y'all, praying for y'all, all kinds of stuff. And now look, they call us pure blood. And they want us to donate our blood. What? I told you Daddy said people was going to regret the juice. I told y'all Daddy said people was going to regret not listening to people like me and others out there calling us conspiracy spirits. And guess what about YouTube, y'all? I was listening to the YouTube. I don't know if he's a CEO or something, right? Somebody had uploaded his video. YouTube needs creators. They're short on creators. And they about to spend $64 million a day giving creators money. Do you know on their For You page, they got creators that only got videos that got 1,000 hits, but they're on their For You page? Didn't Daddy say YouTube was going to regret doing what they did back in the COV days and taking down all these channels for frivolous things, harassing people? Many people left YouTube and they took them down. Now they need creators to the point where they're promoting small creators. You might only got 5,000 people following you. They promoting you and they giving you money. I said, ain't that a blip, Daddy? Didn't he say that was going to happen? Prophecy come to pass. What? And I saw Google being bought along with YouTube. That's next. Don't know when it's going to happen, but that's next. And it got better on this platform. I was like, praise God. What? So all the conspiracy spirits people out there, all the people lost their channels. Man, I know they feeling compensated, even though they may not be on here no more. Or maybe they just gave up. I know they're feeling vindicated. I said, this the CEO of YouTube, $64 million a day, and they're specializing on small channels. And it said YouTube need a lot of creators. What? Wow. I was shocked. I said, Daddy, prophecy come to pass. But anywho, pray against this disease. And the Lord said, pray for your family. He said, prayer is the only antidote. So y'all better start praying now. That this thing don't come this spring or summer. And if it do, your family, I don't care how wayward they are, y'all need to be praying over them constantly. Yes. Because they bringing it. Because the enemy wants to kill off 6 billion people. Or more. So y'all need to be praying over this. Hey, hello, how you doing? All right. there's going to be more political exposure coming. I've been telling y'all that for the last couple of years, and it's been happening. It's going to be more political exposure here in America and other countries, but especially here. And I kept seeing Russia like rising up. I don't know how they're going to rise, because they're trying to bring the BRICS back again, the money to combat USA money. But I saw Russia rising up, but it wasn't like where they was rising up and it was going to hurt our country. I don't know, it might hurt some other countries, but it wasn't going to hurt our country. Excuse me. But I saw them rising up, Russia. Maybe it's going to have something to do with Ukraine. Because I heard they killed 20,000 people a couple of last week. I was like, Daddy, what is Russia doing? Right? And then I read somewhere they was going to make Ukraine zones. Like some was going to go to Russia and some was going to go to Ukraine itself, right? But I saw Russia rising up, but it wasn't like a big rise, like a small rise. And it didn't affect us. So, we're going to be seeing something. Oh, and then their money. What do they call their money? Is that India, the ruble, or is that Russia? Their money was going to rise up too. With them, I saw their currency and them, Russia, rising up. But it wasn't like a big rise, but it was enough, right? So you're going to hear about their ruble going up. And Vietnam's money, you're going to hear about their money being, I kept hearing the word reinstated. So I don't know what that means. I mean, I know what reinstated means, but I mean, the Vietnam dong is still there. They just don't sell it in the banks anymore. But it's going to be reinstated. So maybe if it's reinstated, they're going to start selling it at Chase and Wells Fargo again. I don't know, right? And I kept hearing God, especially the other night, he kept saying, pray that Israel does not do anything to provoke and anger Iran, because it will mess up the talks with Trump. And God said, pray for favor with those talks, because if those talks don't go good with Iran and Trump, it could be a war between us and Iran and the Houthis and anybody else that's with Iran. But I read that Iran is cutting off the Houthis and stuff like that. So God said, pray that meeting is very favorable and that Israel does not interrupt it at all. Because he said Israel don't want Iran to be at peace with us, because he wants America to be on his side so he can one day hit Iran and get away with it. And God said, not so. God said, I'm not a war God like that. So we have to constantly pray that Israel does not do anything stupid to mess up those talks. And then we have to pray that the talks are favorable. Just like the talks with China will be favorable. Okay? Right. So then the Lord said, turbulence is coming on the planet. This is my second time telling you that. Turbulence is coming on the planet. Shaking and unstableness. He said it's not going to be not one country that won't be touched. But like here in America, in Australia, New Zealand, wherever you are, right? Your country will be touched, but you won't be touched because you are a child of God. And if you cover your family, God will spare them, right? But it's not going to be one nation that's not going to be touched. Now, like I live in Georgia. Georgia has so many different counties and boroughs. So it could touch in Marietta somewhere, or it could touch in Atlanta somewhere, but not touch where I am. You know what I mean? So he was like, every nation will be touched, especially in the summer months. Ooh, Lord. I saw tornadoes and earthquakes and floods that look like tsunamis coming to different foreign places this summer. And Italy and Rome stuck out big time. Italy and Rome stick out big time. But stuff is coming here too. But a lot of big stuff is going to foreign lands. And I told you California was going to have a 7-point-something earthquake. San Diego has 7.0. And that's just the first of many that's coming to California. And then I saw Utah having an earthquake. I saw Utah shaking. I saw Oklahoma shaking. I saw Kentucky shaking. They may not be big quakes. They could be 4.2.5. But I saw them shaking. Daddy said he's going to shake places that have never been shaken before, because he's trying to get man's attention. He wants to bring them to repentance. He wants them to reconcile with him. Yes, they got weather machines, but Daddy said when you see these big earthquakes like we just seen, that him. That him. And then if you see weather coming in places that is out of order, that normally doesn't come in these places or at this time, that's him. And he said he's going to shake, rattle, and roll, make this world, this earth unstable. And it's not going to be not one nation that's not going to be touched. But as long as you are of him, you will be okay. And your family, cover your family. He even told me, he said, Rosalind, start praying for your family. I said, Daddy, I pray for them every doggone day, even at nighttime. He said, start praying some more. Start praying some more. Because not only does he want them to be saved, it's the enemy that's going to try and get them. And we can pray away this sickness. I pray we do. But if it still come, at least it won't kill as many people as it was programmed to do, because we prayed. And we'll be all right. You know what I mean? And it's not like it's not like, okay, even if they try and get you to wear the mask like they did COVID, people still got COVID. But Daddy said even the mask won't help you. He said you better off not even wearing one. He said, because this disease that I saw, like they got over there in China, it ain't gonna help you. Keeping the mask on you, it ain't gonna help you. Locking you indoors, it ain't gonna help you. He said, because it could get through your vents. Remember I told y'all last year, earlier this year, God said, pray over the air you breathe. He said, start praying over the vents in your house. Because everybody got vents. If you got an AC, air conditioning system or heating system, you have vents in your house, your apartment, your room, wherever you live. And even if you don't have vents, the air is still circulating, right? So he said this disease, you can't hide from it like you could COVID a little bit. But this disease that they trying to bring, you can't hide from it. You know how you got cracks in your doors? When you go in and out your door, you know what I mean? You got vents in your house. So remember the Lord said for y'all to pray over the air you breathe with the blood of Jesus. Pray over your vents. Do you know water has air in it? Do you know water has air in it? I'm like, yeah, Daddy, that makes sense. So pray over your water. Pray over the air you breathe when you go outside and the vents in your house with the blood of Jesus. We're like, Father, I cover the air I breathe, my vents, any air, any water with the blood of Yeshua HaMashiach. I cover my nose, my mouth, my ears, any interjection that is open where air could come in, my eyes. I cover it with the blood of Yeshua HaMashiach and the fire of the Holy Spirit to infinity. And I do that for my family as well. Children, grandchildren, you name it, everybody. Pray. Because they're going to try and make people wear masks again. They're going to try and tell you, lock you down. And Daddy said, it ain't going to help you. He said the mask would be a waste of time. He said locking you down, keeping you in the house is a waste of time, because that disease is so bad, it could get through your vents. The little cracks we have in the doors. So just pray. Right? Then the Lord said the spirit of anxiety is going to be on the rise. So God said, pray against the spirit of anxiety attacking you, your family, and just people in general. Because when people have anxiety, they can stress so bad, they can have heart attacks, they can have strokes, they can have neurological problems, a nervous system could break down, all kinds of, it can make them go mad, and it'll open them up to more demons. So pray against the spirit of anxiety. All right. And God said, pray and ask him to help you to live in him. Live in him. Like he's the strong tower in the Bible. And it says we must run to the strong tower. That's Daddy. So Daddy said, pray that you live in him. And as you live in him, he can be able to spare your family members and extend their life. Give them more time to get right and come to him. Because if this disease comes, it's gonna scare the heck out of people, like it is over there in China, right? Let's see. You will find family will be. Oh, okay. We're starting to see it already, but families are going to start to be out of control. It's demons trying to separate the families. So God said, pray over your family, whether you talking to them or not. God said, pray over your family that you open up a door for daddy to come in and help your family to see he's real and he's the great Elohim, and that they can't live without him. And pray for the will and the zeal of your family members, eyes to be open to see the light of Yeshua Christ. That way they can come to God and not receive death. Because families are going to get out of control. Divorce is going to be on the rise. Separation going to be on the rise. People are going to be getting engaged, setting up weddings, and boom, something going to happen. You know, I even saw women dropping dead right there at their weddings. All kinds of craziness is about to hit us. So God said, if you pray, you and your family will be spared. We will be spared. A lot of adultery is going on, and God said that's going to get worse. So you got to pray over your spouse, that they come to Christ, and that their eyes is only for you and their heart is only for you, and for God to help them not to desire anybody outside of you. I mean, it's not going against their will because you're married to them. You know what I mean? You, all of you who are married, engaged, got boyfriend, girlfriend, you plan on marrying, y'all need to take these relationships as sacredism. Because the enemy is going to be splitting a lot of families and people up, because the birth rate is already dropped to, I think, 30%, and he wants it to drop more. Because remember I told you, I asked Daddy, why does he want to kill 6 billion people and they're gonna incarnate back? He said, if people not having babies, they can't come back. They get stuck in the spirit and go in other realms or something, or they may get stuck on the moon. You know, I'm like, that's dirty devil. Right? So you're going to have to take your marriages more seriously, your relationships, if you're engaged, boyfriend and girlfriend. If that's the one for you, you need to pray and ask God if that's the one for you. If you're shacking up together, y'all need to go and get married ASAP, because those definitely will be relationships that will break up. If you're shacking up, you're not married, boyfriend, girlfriend. If you're planning these long weddings, baby, you need not be planning these long weddings. You need to go and get married and just have a big old reception, because that's where you get all the money and gifts anyway. The wedding, you spend so much money and you don't get nothing. I mean, you might get, your little money bag. No, that's usually at the reception with the money bag, right? So go and get married at the Justice of the Peace. You don't even need blood tests no more. You just need to apply for a license. I think you get them in 24, 48 hours now. Just go and get married. Just make sure God wants y'all to get married if your boyfriend, girlfriend, shacking up together. Just make sure that's the one you want. Because if you don't, those relationships that don't have strong stability, they will be like the wind. So if you want to keep your man, or you want to keep your woman, and you ain't married to them, you better get married. And if you're married and you want to keep your man, you want to keep your woman, you better start praying even harder over your marriage. Because it won't stand. The house without God doesn't stand. All right? And if you want to get married and you got prophesied, like I have upteen times, and he or she didn't come yet, you need to be praying, Father, in the name of Jesus, during this time and season that's coming, that's rocking the boats and rocking relationships. Some of us know what the person look like, and you may not. Father, in the name of Jesus, whoever you have for me, if it's been delayed by the enemy, if I delayed it, whatever, Father, please let them come forth through the fire. Let them be proof through the fire. Let them come forth through the fire. Let your word come to pass that was spoken over me from your prophets and from you, that my spouse will come forth. My spouse will find me, or I will find him or her, or you will put me in a position, or him or her in a position that we will find each other. Do not let the enemy take away my chance to find my perfect spouse that you have for me. Do not let the enemy take that chance away, because during this time, the enemy is going to try and take away your promised spouse that God has given you. If you're not living right, if you don't have faith, if you gave up, if you eyeing somebody else, the enemy will use it against you to take away your promised spouse that God gave you. So you be like, Father, in the name of Jesus, help me not to lose my promised spouse that you gave me. Help me not to give up. Help me not to be wayward. Help me not to get impatient and marry the wrong person. Help me, Father, to stay just like I am, so that I can meet my promised spouse, and the enemy will not take him or her from me in Yeshua's name to Xfinity. Because if you don't have kids, or if you do have kids, but you meant to have more, and you don't meet that promised spouse, those souls will not incarnate because they were for you to have. Because see, the enemy has control over the reincarnated souls, because a lot of them, some of them don't always go to the moon, some of them go to other places, but a lot, like I would say 80% go to the moon. They will whitewash you and you won't remember jack. And be like, and then you pray this, Father, don't let me leave this earth or die without meeting my promised spouse and marrying my promised spouse and enjoying my life and destiny and doing all we're supposed to do for you. In Yeshua's name, still to Xfinity. And thank you that you're not going to let Yadaboff, witch, warlock, whatever, take my promised spouse from me, or take me from my promised spouse, or to take us from you, in Yeshua's name, sealed with the blood of Yeshua Jesus. Then the Lord says some strange new doctrines are going to be coming in the church. Strange new doctrines. Like, we know reincarnation, all that is real, but it's going to be strange doctrines we never heard of before. So God said you got to be careful in the church right now. They're going to be, because the church eventually is going to come around to God, right? But there's going to be some strange doctrines they're going to be introduced into the church. Like, it can be from other pagan religions and stuff. They're going to start trying to convince you that this is really part of the Lord. So be very careful and pray against that. The Lord said, pray against SUVs and car bombings in cities in America and well-known cities in other countries. I also saw Australia, right? I saw the UK. I saw Germany and America. So pray against car bombings and SUV bombs in cities like New York is a city, like Atlanta is a city, places like that. They want to bring confusion. They want to put people in fear. And it's also to come against Trump. They're going to blame these things. They're going to try and blame them on Trump. And also in foreign lands, this is going to happen too. Like, I'm not going to say I hate, but I'm not pushing on the Islamic people, but it was Islamic people, Pakistanis and stuff like that, that was doing these bombings, right? So you have to pray against it and ask God's hand to intervene and stop these bombings, right? There's going to be a bomb device placed somewhere where Trump is going to be, in the building where Trump is going to be. They have planned the device bomb. God said, pray that it will be foiled. Pray that it will not be detonated. Pray that it will be found before he even walks himself in that building. I don't know what building it is. I think it's here in America. I'm not sure. Could be abroad. But God said, pray. And then the Lord said, ask him to cover Mar-a-Lago. Because even though Trump's in the White House, his wife and Barron, when he's not in school, and even Trump spend a lot of time in Mar-a-Lago because they don't really like the White House. So cover the White House, but cover Mar-a-Lago. Y'all remember that assassination attempt? I saw him having at Mar-a-Lago, and it happened just how I saw it when he was president before. So God said, just ask him to cover Mar-a-Lago. The White House too, but Mar-a-Lago, right? And the Lord said they're going to try and mess with the electrical systems in different cities. I told y'all this last year, and I told you they were going to flood different cities, and they did it, right? So pray over the electrical systems in your state and town. Pray over the grids in your state and town. And each county has their own grid. So pray over it. God said if you do this, it will not happen where you are, but we will hear it happening other places because people aren't going to pray because they don't know. Also, Daddy said they was going to mess with the water. I kept hearing water infiltration filters. Water infiltration filters. In America, they're going to be messing with the water system. They're going to make it where they're going to tell you don't drink tap water. You know what I mean? So God said, just pray over your tap water. I don't drink tap water, but if you use tap water to boil something, or like my faucet, it's so fancy, I can't put one of those water filters on it. I can't because it's too doggone fancy. I said, what's the purpose of making these fancy things if you can't even put a water filter on it? So, I have a water filter I got from Amazon, right? And it filters your water. I gotta set it up though. But I buy like Avon water. What is it? How you spell it? Am I saying it right? Is Pat on here? If you want to hear Pat, put the name of that water on it. It's the best water. Even and I ain't crazy about Elon Musk, but I heard him say he spelled the water backwards. I said, ooh, and it means good, blessing. So it's a little pricey, but I buy it. And a lot of times I catch it on sale, but I buy it. And it's some good water. And any water that has a black top, like essential water, is good for you. Any water that has like a blue top is good for you. But most of those waters that have white tops, So look for the blue tops, green tops, black tops. And when I say blue, it could be sky blue, dark blue. Those are the good waters. Any waters that have white, I'm just saying, right? What else? I told that. All right, so pray over your electrical system in your house, your grids. Unlike in Georgia, they got stuff under the ground and then they got stuff in the sky. So cover it. And Daddy said it will not affect your county or where you are. When you pray for your whole county. Pray for, like me, I'll pray for the whole state of Georgia that it doesn't happen. But I also pray extra over my county. Your county could be big, but that's fine. And then pray over your area, your compound, your region. You know what I mean? Right? And even if you're not in America, you should be praying this. All right. And pray over your water, because some people use their water to boil eggs and stuff like that. You may not drink it. But I've gotten to the point where I pour my water. When I'm boiling something, I pour my fancy water in the pot. I just say, Daddy, just keep me to be able to afford this water. And he does it. And I pour that water in my pot if I'm going to boil eggs, boil noodles, make some soup, whatever I'm going to do, make some gravy. Whatever I'm going to do, I use my fancy water. I only use the tap water to wash my dishes, and I use organic dishwashing liquid. And I always pray over my water, So I don't even use it to cook with. I use my fancy water, and I just ask God to afford me to continue to buy my fancy water. But you could get like essential water, because that's a little cheaper than the Avon water. So long as it has a black top, a blue top, and a green top, because they got organic water. It comes in a glass bottle only. Oh, that's some good water. What is the name of that? I think it's called Spring Nature. They sell it in organic stores. So all you gotta do is just pray and ask God to afford you to be able to buy the fancy water with the black top, blue top, green top, not white top. Just ask God to help you to afford to buy that water. That way you could cook in it. That way, or to afford you to buy a filter to put on your faucet so it can filter out the water. Okay, good. I just told you, as long as it has a black top, a dark blue, sky blue, minty looking color, green color, black, and light blue. Don't get any water that has a white top, like Nestle, Aquafina, Deer Park. None of them that have a white top. I'm not going against them. I plead the fifth. I'm just saying, Daddy taught me, and then he helped me find a video. I was just scrolling like last year. And the man was saying what I said. Well, he told me, and Daddy said, I'll let you see it for confirmation. So don't get nothing that have white tops to it. Get the colored water. Especially the ones that got black, silver, and they come in the glass bottles. Glass bottle water is the best. And the best water in plastic is the Avon water, and I think the essential water, but the best water that you can get is in the glass bottle. And it may be a little more money, like maybe $3 or some change. And then there's water that come in they're hard containers. They're not plastic. They're white and black. I forget the name of the water. But they come in hard containers. And you find them in Publix and in all the organic stores, right? But if you could get glass bottles, that's even better. Or get Yvonne, something like that. And so don't forget to pray over your water and your electrical system, right? And then remember I told y'all about meats and foods a year and a half ago. So they're going to try and create a food shortage, y'all. They're going to tell you that something's in the cattle. I already told you they was going to do it with the chicken and they did it, but you're going to hear about the chicken again. They're going to tell you that something's in the cattle, in the beef. Like the only cattle that's going to be safe, they're going to tell you is Angus. And Angus beef is expensive. And I buy it because it's so good. I'll be like, Daddy, can you just give me money to get that beef? I'll be buying the Angus ribs, I even got Pat buying it now. She didn't never used to buy a lot of stuff that I bought. Even before I moved here, I was buying it. And she used to say, your taste too expensive. I said, all you gotta do is pray and ask Daddy to give you doggone money. And she started praying. And now she buys the Angus meat. And she be like, oh, it's so good. I said, I told you. That black Angus beef is the best because they get fed totally different. And a lot of times you can find it on sale. And you can find it in Publix and organic stores. I don't know if Kroger's and all those other places have it. You just have to Google in your area or in your country, in your state, what grocery stores where I can find Angus burgers, Angus ribs, Angus steaks. And then a lot of times you can find them on sale. And then you can ask Daddy to help you to afford these things. And he will, because he wants you to eat these things. So he will act because it's better for you, right? But they're going to tell you something's wrong with the cattle, and it's going to scare people not to eat beef, and they're going to come back again with the chicken, and it's going to make a shortage, right? And then there's going to be other food shortages that's going to come. Like in some stores in the future, I don't know when this is going to happen. You're going to go in there and see some of the shelves empty. Y'all remember that dream I had 4 or 5 years ago? I saw rich people standing outside a Walmart, and Walmart was only letting a certain amount of people in for food. Yeah, it's going to touch everybody. So what you need to do is you need to pray and ask God to keep your refrigerators full, your freezer full, your cabinets full, and for your family as well. And anybody that he wants you to help feed, to supply you the money so you could feed them. If you do like me, once or twice a month, I donate food to the food bank. Be like, Daddy, let me be able to continue to do that. And one thing I noticed, like organic stores, doing the COVID thing and doing the food issues, they stay full. It was the Krogers, the Walmarts, the Targets, other grocery stores where the shelves were empty. But me and Pat, we was going into organic stores, and I kept saying to her, I said, why the organic stores don't have no empty shelves? That's because a lot of people can't afford to go into organic stores. But the organic store prices are higher, and Publix is higher than Kroger's and Targets and stuff like that. But a lot of times in those organic stores, you can find sales. Like every time me and Pat go in there, we be finding sales. You can find sales. So what you do is you just pray, like, Daddy, send me in these stores when they having sales. Always provide me with the money to buy these things so that I can eat better and I can be healthier. And if you, like me, and donate food once or twice a month to the food bank, and then I give food to people, you will be the person to be able to afford these organic foods and meats. You know why? Because you giving food away. You're feeding people. God told me, he was like, Rosalind, have you ever thought about how many people you feed when you go to the food bank once or twice a month? I was like, no. He's like, every time you go, you feed about 15 to 25 families. I said, I only be spending like $100, $150, because I know what store to go to. And I get a bunch of food, right? I get fresh bread, everything on sale, right? I was like, 15 to 25 people or a family every time I go? He was like, yes. And he said, tell your sister the same thing, because she goes now with me. And I forgot to tell her. I was like, wow. And I was like so happy to learn that I could feed 15 to 20 something people every time I go, and families included. I said, "Whoa!" I said, "No wonder my food be staying full, and I even have to give away that sometime." You know what I'm saying? So if you get like that, even if it's just $50, you can find a local food bank where you live, and even if it's just $50, you can donate once a month. Go on and do it. Because that $50 is going to take you a long way with food. You'll never be hungry. Your family members will never be hungry. Even the ones you don't talk to. Daddy will still feed them. I'm telling you. The Bible says the more you give, the more you receive. The less you give, the less you receive. But I'm going to tell you something. I noticed when you feed people, man, you don't go hungry. Your family don't go hungry. You have a surplus. You have a surplus like a puddle. You walk in it. So for those of you, want your refrigerator to stay fuller, you need to take at least $50 a month. Find a local food bank somewhere. Ask them, what days you could come and donate some food. If it's only, make it $50 if you can afford it. If you can't right now, then $10, $25. They'll take a couple of packs of meat, but it got to be fresh meat. It can't be spoiled. Canned goods and stuff like that, they can't expire. They have to still be good, like for a month or two or a year or however they do it, right? And everything cannot be open. It has to be sealed. So like if you got food in your refrigerator that you open, you can't give it to them. It has to be fully sealed, like fresh, right? If you want to donate donuts or like fresh bread, you go to the store, you buy it, and they know that it's fresh because they could tell. You could do that, you know what I mean? But you can't be making food and taking it to them because they're not going to take it. You can't be giving them half open stuff, half cooked. They can't. It has to be like brand new from the store. So you would take your $10, $25, $50, whatever you're going to spend, and go there and give it to them. Now, if you don't have a food bank around you, what you could do is you could purposely go in the grocery store once a month. And you don't even have to be buying any groceries. You can just go in there and just buy one thing and make sure you get in the line that somebody is before you or after you. And you can turn around and tell them, Jesus, whether you believe in him or not. I say Yeshua, Jesus. Sometimes I say Jesus. I say whether you believe in him or not, he told me to bless you with this money to help pay for your groceries. And a lot of times they will cry. A lot of times they'll be like, no. And I'll be like, no, you taking this money. You ain't blocking my blessings. The Lord told me to give it to you. And they take it and they start crying, or they'll hug you. You know what I mean? They'll hug you, especially the elderly people, because they have a hard time with money, right? And it's amazing. And, and people will tell me, they'll be like, you know what? I just was praying this morning, asking God that I needed this one time, a couple of times. But one time I gave a lady some money and she was like, I only have, it's before she went in the grocery store. She said, I only have $9 on my debit card to my name. And she said, I prayed and I told God that I'm going to have faith and I'm going to go to the grocery store and I'm going to be able to buy me as much as I can. And she said, here you come. And I think I gave her like $100. And she said, and here you come. She started praising God right then and there and crying. And she went in the grocery store. Then one time I went in the grocery store. And the lady, she was in, those things that they drive when they can't walk real good. And she was just like that at the door. And Pat went in before me. And then I saw her. And I was like, how you doing? Because sometimes I'll just talk to people. How you doing? And I had did Wendy Williams. I was like, how you doing? And she started laughing. She said, I'm doing good. How you doing? I said, fine. I said, so what's going on today? Right? So she started talking to me. And then I was like, you believe in Yeshua, Jesus, don't you? She said, yeah. And Daddy said, give her $200. And I had just got that money from somebody. I forget who donated it. And I had got it out the bank. And the Lord said, give her $200. I was like, okay, Daddy. So I pulled it out. And I said, Daddy, God told me to give you this. And then she saw it. She was like, no. I said, you better take this. I said, because Daddy God said you need this. She started crying. And she was like, I sure do need it. I need to buy me some groceries. And I'm like, well, here you go, right? So then she just wouldn't let me go. She just kept talking to me. So then I prayed for her more, right? Then Daddy said, give her $50 more. I said, He said, give her $50 more. So I gave her $50 more. Oh, she started wailing. Pat was there with me. She started wailing. Don't you know she started driving that little scooty thing? And she went and got her some groceries. Then there was another time this lady, she was buying groceries for this lady that had 5 kids. And they didn't have no food. Right? And she was in one of those scooter things too. And I was just about to pay for my food. And then Daddy said, look to the left. And I looked down. She's sitting in the chair. And I was like, how you doing? She was like, I'm good, sweetie. How you doing? And she was like, you're so pretty. And I'm like, thank you. You're so pretty too. I said, would you believe me that God told me to give you $100? This woman started falling out in the chair. She said, do you know I got $100 to buy food for this woman that got 5 kids? She said, can I have your phone number? She said, because when I get to her, I'm going to have her call you and thank you. And do you know they called me and thanked me the next day? And I prayed for them. And I told them, well, I changed my number since then. And I told them, if you need prayer, call me. But, I changed my number since then. I was like, you never know who God is going to put on assignment for you. That's why you need to pray and say, Daddy, can you always make me have some money? I don't care if it's a little or a lot. Always let me have some money. Because if there's anybody out there that you want me to help pay for their groceries, give homeless people money, give your friend money, wherever it is, your kids, whatever, you will have it available. And I'm going to tell you something. I noticed with God, when you start helping people, especially strangers, homeless people, grocery store, whoever, even your own family, God will begin to make sure you have money, not just for yourself, but for people out there in the world. So for those of you who are having such bad financial problems, you need to start being a giver. You need to start paying your tithes every week, or sowing a seed every week. Like you getting fed by me, you give me. You getting fed by somebody else, you give them a little, you give me some. But you should not let a week go by without sowing a tithe or a seed to wherever you're getting fed at. And on top of that, because my Bible Money Treasure book teaches you, 90% of your wealth comes from your own giving. The 10% is mandatory from God. So when you out there in the streets and you giving people money or you going to food banks, that's coming out your 90%. That's where your wealth comes from. My Bible Money Treasure, The Secret to Kingdom Wealth, teaches you that. And also my new financial book that's on Barnes & Nobles, that's bigger than the first book, teaches you that. If you are a weekly tither, weekly sower, you take out your 90%, even if it's just once a week, and you give somebody something, you will start seeing your money start coming in better and better. It could be a slow process. It could be a fast process. Like I've had people that used to only give me 50 cents, $1, $5, $10, $20. Now they give me $100, $50, $200. Sometimes they shock me. I'll be like, what? Right? Because their income went up because they started becoming givers. If you got a tight fist, how can God fill your hand up when it's not open? It's tight because you don't want to give. You don't want to share. You know what I mean? Even if you don't have money to give, ask the person, do you need any kind of help? Like one of my brothers in the Lord, he was like, right now, I don't have no money. But he's very gifted and talented in songs. Writing songs and making songs. So he done sent me like 5 or 6 of them already. I probably ain't gonna get to the end of the year next year. And who knows where those songs will go? Because he didn't have the money to give me money. And he said, I want to sow these. Then I've had people send me artist stuff, like pictures of me they made, artistry, or they'll ask me, do you need a help with a website, because they say, I don't have money right now, but I want to offer you something. Some of them are prophets, and they'll say, I went to God on your behalf, and he told me this. You know what I mean? So if you don't have money, you ask God, well, how can I sow into this person's life? And he'll tell you. Or you can ask the person, do you need me to type anything up? Do you need me to do a YouTube banner for you? Do you need me to do a Facebook banner if you're skilled in those things? You know what I'm saying? If you make music, can I make you a jazz track or R&B jazz track, and I'll give you the commercial rights and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I'm just thinking out my head right now. All right, so I told you about the food shortage. So pray against the food shortage because they're going to start saying it's going to be disease. I kept hearing mad cow disease. I think they did that before, but I kept hearing that. And it's going to scare people into eating regular cows and something about the chicken. But God said, don't be scared. If you want to eat the regular cows or the chicken, just get it and pray over it. Pray over it. And always put vinegar and water over your chickens. And like my chickens, I let it soak for like 25 minutes in vinegar and water. Now the beef, I will just take and put some vinegar over it and rub it and wash it real good and then just soak it off a little because vinegar is different from chicken, right? And I do it with turkey, with my fish. I'll put a little vinegar on there and rinse it off, you know, and that kills a lot of stuff. Especially the white vinegar, right? Let's see. Animals getting what? Oh yeah, so God said pray against animals getting infected with any kind of sickness or disease. They will try to poison the cattle, God said. And the Lord said that we need to learn how to garden. Like me, I can't garden in my backyard because I don't have no fence. And them animals at night will come and tear it up. So I got like a little plant upstairs. And then I want to get me like one of those little herbal things. And they come with like 5 of them on there. And put it like in my kitchen and do that. So I would have to wait till I go home to get a garden. But if you're able to get a garden, God said, start learning how to garden, get books. TikTok's it full of books like that, right? And Amazon. Start learning how to garden, he said. And then the Lord said he's going to make the church the head of the earth. Now, I know y'all like apostle. That is very hard to believe. But didn't the Bible say before he going to come back and clean the church up? He's going to make the church the head. One day, hopefully in our day, we'll start to see it. He's going to make the church the head. Yes, the church is going to come back as the head. And then the Lord said he's going to start bringing his children, that's his now and that's coming to him. He's going to start bringing his children back to help each other and others. And he's going to give us the spirit of good communication and the spirit of good community. We're going to have community. He's going to bind us together to him. And we're going to have so much charity and love for each other like never seen before. It's going to be historic. I said, Daddy, the church is going to really be like that. Historic, right? And it's going to be from his people he have now and in the future. We will be able to trust each other. There will be great trust among the church and each other. I was like, wow. Okay, false flags. There's going to be false flags coming to schools, something to do with education. Small, like children, like from kindergarten to, 8th grade, 5th, 6th grade. We're going to start hearing something to do with education within the schools, and it's going to be a false flag. And the Lord said it was to hurt parenthood. It's to hurt single mothers, married mothers. It's to hurt parenthood. So when you see this stuff coming and you got small kids, you're going to know what it is. But you need to start praying against it now so it can be evaded. Ask God to put his hands in there. Right? The Lord said, and I told y'all about this before. I've been telling y'all this for 4 years. There is malicious groups in America and other countries. I don't know why Australia kept sticking out to me, Germany and the UK, and New York and DC. There are militia groups that's already here. And they're going to be making camps in big cities, like you could say New York, DC, Chicago, those kind of big cities. In secret. They could be doing it now, so you guys start praying against it. They want to claim territories. God said we need to pray against it. They are going to get so big that if they do, they will go against our government and begin killing people in these big cities, like taking over, like a mafia, taking over businesses. If you don't give them a certain amount of money every week for your business, they will kill you and take it over. Yeah, this is crazy. And the Lord said that we need to start praying now because they're already in these places that I just named. They're already in this country, Australia, New Zealand, I saw them in a place called Austria, and then DC, New York, Chicago, and Newark, New Jersey. And where I'm from, Newark is about 30 minutes away. So the Lord said we have to start praying against these militia groups now. It's going to be like the mafia. You remember back in the day in the mafia, you had to pay them every week. They would send somebody to collect the money. And if you didn't do it, they'd kill you and take your business. Sometimes they'll wipe out your whole family. This is what these kind of groups plan on doing. And they plan on getting so big, they want to topple the governments. Like our governments, like our mayors, our governors, they want to take over. Then the Lord also said, this is no pun intended against Islam. He said, pray against Sharia law. He said, if you live in a country or a city in America and they got Sharia courts and Sharia laws in certain places, he said, pray and ask me to intervene that they do not take over. He said, because you do not want to be in a country or a city or a county or a region where they will take over. They will try and make everybody Muslims. That's what he said. No pundit to the Muslims. I'm just telling you what God said. Wherever you live, pray that Sharia law does not abound where you live. It already has abounded in some places, especially over there in Europe. But God said, pray that he intervene, that these laws do not abound, because he showed me people moving from state to state to state, trying to get from under these Sharia laws. They already here. They creeping in. The Lord said, start praying against it and pray that his hand abounds in it. Yeah. And pray against these militia groups, because they going to be trying to kill businesses and take them. And they're going to try to topple the governments, like the mayors of that town, governors of that town. They're going to be trying to do these things, guys. And they already here. They already here. Trump got rid of a lot of the cartel, but he still got a long ways to go, y'all. So pray that God gave him the strength to do it. Now, Trump's season is coming. President Donald Trump's season is coming this summer. He will get so many eyes on him this summer. Even the people who hate him, even the elitists, even the Illuminati, even the Democrats, he will have everybody's attention this summer. And people who hate him and people who don't like him, he will be a showstopper, the Lord said, this summer. I don't know what Trump going to do that's going to get all his attention and make him a showstopper. He's going to do it. And God said, it's going to be my hand. And God said, do not idolize Trump. You put God before Trump. God said Trump is a very smart man. He has a lot he is cooking in secret for America. He does not like evil. God says Trump don't like evil. Y'all said he's like a bull. Hold on, I did that. Y'all said Trump is like a bull that you know how a bull scuffs? Yeah, and he takes his legs and he just kicks up the dirt. The Lord said Trump is like a bull that scuffs up the dirt. So he's bringing up the dirt, he's exposing stuff, right? So the Lord said, pray for him and pray over him. Yah is using him to ruffle up and stop and get rid of the old evil system, and to expose things and wake up America and other nations on the earth. Didn't he do it with tariffs? Didn't we find out that these expensive bags, 80% is made in China without the logo? Didn't they send them to wherever they're going to send them? And they put their logo. Look at Louis Vuitton. He refuses to show you his factory. He says he owes us nothing. Excuse you. You would not be Louis Vuitton if people, I even have Louis Vuitton bags. You would not be Louis Vuitton if nobody was buying your bags with your logo. So you owe us a lot. But by them refusing to show you their factory, that's telling you something. And now China got all these sites, but you gotta remember something. These type of sites that you go to, that's why I haven't done it yet. You have to order in bulk. At least 50 pieces of this, 50 pieces of that, or more. for them to ship to you. Now, they do have individual sites where you can just go there and buy a couple things for yourself. But if you want to get really, really big discounts and you want to be the big person in your block, you want to be the 99-cent store on your block, right? You got to have big money, like at least $5,000 to start, right? And order like 50 pieces of this. 50, like if you want to order those Louis Vuitton bags without the logos, or the Chanel bags, or the Herman bags, which only cost $1,600 to make, but he's selling for $38,000. You have to have at least $5,000 to invest in that to get at least 50 pieces of this, 50 pieces of that. Then you gotta have a sell base. You gotta make sure that you got people who gonna buy these bags for like $100 from you. Although you may be paying 10, 20. You could sell it for like 100, 150. Now, like all the knockoffs, like I used to buy real bags, and I used to get knockoffs. And I used to go, how many of y'all know about Canal Street, 42nd Street, right? Garment District. I don't know if it's still there. But, excuse me, there were buildings we used to go to every other weekend in New York, and you would just, they were so high, like 10 feet tall, 10 floors. And every floor had the Nikes, the Louis Vuitton, the Prada, Dolce Gabbana, all of that, right? And we thinking we buying knockoffs. You know what Daddy told me? He said, Rosalind, all those knockoffs you used to buy, the shoes, the belts, the purses, the wigs, the hats, they were the real deal, because the Chinese people on Canal Street and 42nd Street in New York, they was the only ones that sold it. And we did not know back then that they were the ones that was making it. What? And China came with receipts, y'all, on TikTok and YouTube. They got receipts showing that they make 80% of these luxury bags, especially Louis Vuitton, Givenchy, Herman's, which is one of the most expensive bags on the planet. They got receipts. I was like, Daddy, so you mean I was buying the real thing almost? He said, yeah, everything you had bought. Everything. All the bags. Everything. Hey, let me tell you something. The knockoffs, because they use cowhide leather. They don't use regular leather for these purses, because I had a real Chanel. I had a real Louis Vuitton. I had a real Dolce Gabbana. And then I had knockoffs. And I had the real shoes, the real belts, and then I had knockoffs, right? So even the knockoffs was made out of cowhide leather. And I used to notice that. And like when you buy bags from, what's that bag? They got a special zipper. It's gold. Where's that bag? It's not Prada. It's not Gucci. I forget it. But it's one of these name brands. They have a special zipper. It's always gold. And my knockoffs just had that zipper. And I used to be like, wow, this looks like the real thing. Do you know all my knockoffs was real? Daddy told me they were real. Back then, they was making the bags, y'all. And then they was selling them. What they would do is the Chinese people in New York would buy them from the big vendors in China and have them shipped in barrels and go on Canal Street and sell them for 100, 150. I think the most I ever paid for a knockoff was like $250, and that was a Prada bag, right? Come to find out, it was real Prada. What? Dolce Gabbana. I bought a Dolce Gabbana. No, it was a Burberry. I bought a Burberry coat and a bag and shoe. I used to dress to the hilt. You couldn't tell me nothing. Then Daddy was like, Rosalind, all that stuff you had was the real deal. He said, how do you think these Chinese people took over the garment district? Because they wasn't in Little China. They was in the garment district, right? They was ordering all that stuff from China. What? So all the stuff I had was real, y'all. Real. But the cops used to come and shut them down. And then they would come right back a week later and last for a year or two. Then they would have another raid. Then they come back again. So it was crazy. It was crazy. But everybody used to go to the garment district. Everybody back in the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s. Everybody in New York, you could be walking in Manhattan, Times Square, right? It could be a black dude, white dude, Asian dude, got them bags. They would say, got them knockoffs, got that Gucci, got that Prada, got that Burberry, got that Dolce Gabbana, I got this, I got that. Only bags you never could get was those Herman bags. You couldn't get those Herman's bags. But any other bag you think of, you could get. Oh, they like, I got them Gucci shoes, I got that Gucci hat, I got that Gucci belt. And you thinking you buying knockoffs and you buying the real deal. Doomy, yeah, they would sell those too. Doomy and Burke. Yes, they would sell those too. It was Gucci that had the golden zipper. Yeah. And like, I remember one time I had got this job and we was going through training. And he was putting up different pictures and stuff. And he was saying, who know what this is, right? So he put up a Louis Vuitton bag, right? Everybody, all the other girls was like, oh, that's Louis Vuitton. I'm like, no. No, they would say that was, what was the short name? I think Louis Vuitton, right? They would say that. I said, no, that's Louis Vuitton. And then the trainer, he was like, oh, you must have Louis Vuitton bags because only people who calls it Louis Vuitton has the bags. I said, oh, yes, I have. He said, and it made them ladies mad at me. I had problems with them. I only stayed on that job for like 4 months because it made them mad. I had problems. He was like, yeah, you know what you're talking about. You must have them. I said, yeah. He said, you must have the real ones. I said, and it made them mad. I never forget that. Yes, I remember those days when I used to visit my sister in New York. I had a blast. Yup, Garmick District. I don't even know if they're still there anymore. I'm going to check. I'm going to Google it. But anyway, Trump is going to be do something, and he's going to be a showstopper this summer. Daddy's going to have him do it. And then the Lord said that Trump has the keys to open doors that are locked up right now, but he will unlock them. God gave Trump these keys to unlock stuff. And then when he does this, Daddy says Trump will make life better. It will be less strain and less issues on Americans. He will use others to help him. Good elites. Like I kept telling y'all for years, there's good elites and there's bad elites. So he's going to be using good elites that work in his administration to do this. He said he will help with policy change to take America out of slavery and give America a breather we never had in long time, centuries. He said there is evil plans they want to unload. It's been there's evil plans, the evil ones, they've been planning this for years that they want to unload in the coming times. These evil plans will be stopped. Daddy said pray against them, but he will stop them. And they've been in the making for years, and they're going to try and bring them out while Trump's in office. So by this summer and the end of the year, like I keep telling y'all, people are going to have a change of heart. I mean, there's still going to be some that don't like him, but a lot of people are going to have a change of heart. And God is going to use him to take us out of the slavery system. This is why we're going through stuff now. This is why the markets is going bananas, which way you don't know. Because how many of you know, in order for the good to come, you got to get rid of the bad. And if you want to reset something, the old system has to be taken down so the new stuff can come in. And how many of you know when the new president comes in, it's always turmoil. It's just with Trump, it's more than ever. You know what I mean? So the Lord said promises of God will be completed by Trump from Yah. Some, not all. So a lot of promises that God has for America will be fulfilled through Trump, but some of them will only be fulfilled through God, right? And sorry, y'all got scratched. And the Lord said, but we have to have faith. In order for these things to happen this summer at the end of the year, you have to have faith in God. You have to believe that whatever Trump's doing, no matter how bad it seems, how bad people talk about him, whatever. Don't believe the propaganda. God said have faith in him through Trump. It's not faith in Trump, it's faith in God through Trump, right? So if people keep the faith in God and don't give up, don't sell your crypto, don't do this, don't do that, not a money advisor, just telling you what God said. You just trust in him. You don't turn against Trump. You know, because we know Trump is vulgar. We know he got some issues, man. We know he a little off his rocker, but I mean, you know, most people, you know, a little crazy at times. Sometimes we all was crazy at one point in time in our life. Thank God we're not anymore, right? So the Lord said, as long as the church, especially, and we teach people what God is doing through him, you keep the faith. This summer he will be a showstopper, and by the end of the year, a lot of people will be changed by him. The Lord said Trump, by the year end, many Americans will have changed their mind against him, and they will see what he was really doing was for the good of our country. Yah said, have faith in him, not Donald Trump. Donald Trump is only doing what God is leading him to do in a lot of things, right? But he still has those oligarchs talking in his ear. So we got to keep praying that he don't fall under pressure for them, right? So the Lord said that Trump is sowing into America in Yah Jesus' name. Then the Lord said that if we keep the faith in him, we will reap all the things that he's going to produce through our president. And he said that he knows Donald Trump is vulgar. He knows his ways. Some are good and some are bad. And he said he knows him in and out. And he says, Yah told me to tell y'all, he got this. He got this. Now, storms are coming to Jamaica. A bad storm is coming to somewhere in Jamaica. All I know is it's a tourist spot, right? And California is going to have a bad storm. Nigeria is going to have a bad storm. Also, Nigeria's government will be overthrown. You're going to see in our day Nigeria government overthrown because Daddy said it's too much defilement, fraud, deception, suffering of the people over there. So Nigeria is going to have a bad storm, and their government is going to be overthrown and reset and restructured. God said he going to put men of God in that government. But first it has to be overthrown. God says Nigeria has a lot of obsession, demonic activity. The Lord said there will be great floods, historic floods this year, and we will even see a tsunami coming from somewhere. And great storms are coming. We're going to have storms here in America. Of course, I always see Florida. Texas, Kentucky, Ohio. They're going to have more floods. North Carolina, South Carolina. I saw tornadoes. Like I saw all these trees, just trees. And this tornado was just going through, I don't know if it was South Carolina or North Carolina, but I saw Carolina. And it was just going through. And it knocked down every tree. Every tree. It was those skinny trees. I forget what you call them. Right? And the storm, like I told you earlier, a storm is coming to Rome. And there's one coming to the USA. But it could be in one of those places I just told you. Or it could be somewhere else. Thank you, Myra. Thank you, Ayana. Andrea Benson. God bless y'all. Sevenfold, doublefold for your seeds or donations in Yeshua Jesus' name. And if you gave in PayPal, which I don't know. Oh yeah, I want to tell you about this book before I go real quick. Y'all need to go get this book. It's on Amazon. It's called China's War Against America. Oh, this book spills the tea. I'm going to tell y'all some of the stuff it got in it. It says, it has China quest for global domination, Xi Jinping war plan against America, China unrestricted warfare against America, Xi Jinping war on humanity, biological, chemical warfare against America, China's march to war preparing for kinetic conflict with America, China economic warfare, how Beijing is crippling America without firing a shot. And all this stuff is coming out, right? And then it says China economic war. Oh, I got that one. Okay, it says the CCP influence over Hollywood media and United States culture. China's cyber warfare, the silent invasion of America, digital infrastructure, the real hand in America politics, how China infiltrated Washington, China's silent on American society, dividing and conquering from within, China's economic war on America, the master plan to colleges, the United States dollar, global economy, China's military expansion preparing for global war, America at the crossfires, will it fight back or will it fall? And as I was reading this, I said, Daddy, By Trump doing these tariffs, it's a blessing. It may not seem like it now, but China has been exposed. We found out how they steal people's intellect, property. Oh my goodness, how they have infiltrated 90% of the world. What? 80% designer bags and clothes and shoes. They've been doing all this time in our own country, been stealing from us, charging us all this money. This book, when was this book written? I found out about it from somebody on was it Instagram or TikTok. But this book was written long before this stuff started happening. Hold on, I'm trying to see. Because I put, sometimes most of my books I put dates, so, but no, this isn't, wait, this don't even got a copyright thing in it. Hold on. Oh, it got copyright in it. It just don't have the date. But it was written, and this is the name of it, China's War Against America. Oh, it was updated this year. But it was written a long time ago. But this stuff in this book is exactly what China did. So by God using Trump to expose the tariffs, it is exposing China. What? So, God is saving us from China. Like Trump was thinking about delisting their stock. He was thinking about seizing property they have over here. And he still might do it. So by Trump doing these tariffs, people don't realize what God has used him to do for us. Remember in 2023, I told you China, 50% of China would collapse by God's hand. Hasn't that happened? And he said he would be doing it purposely. He said he would send storm after storm after storm to cripple them so they could not do what they want to do. And didn't they just get through a big storm over there? Now, although he's negotiating with Trump and things might come out favorably, things have changed. Things have changed. People ain't going to be buying those big old design things no more because they know they can get it from China cheaper and put their own logo on it. Trump holds all the cards right now. And he's literally stopping China from taking over our country because they done infiltrated in us so bad. When you read this book, oh my goodness, you are going to be like, Lord. And then you got these Americans taking up for them. You got these Americans going against Trump and taking up for China. If they got a hold to this book, they would not be taking up for China. They would not be defecting because China's plan was to take our country over. Remember I kept telling y'all, I saw China take over the western part and Russia had the other part. And there was parts of America that would be free and parts of America that wouldn't be. That was their plan. God is preempting that. So you better be thanking God that Trump did these tariffs because these tariffs have exposed China and have exposed these designers and so much more. And get this book. You'll see the plan of China and you won't defect no more. No matter how much you hate your president, you will not defect. You will like your president for them tariffs. And yeah, it has jacked up the market, the S&P. I don't care. I don't care that it jacked up the market, the S&P, the crypto. I don't care because I know in the long run, super bull run is coming. You hear me? Super bull run is coming and we all going to be happy. We're going to be counting our money, eating cheddar, thanking God for Trump. Mark my words. What's today? April 17th. Before this year is out and in next year, you are going to be counting your money, eating that cheddar and praising God for Trump. Mark my words. Mark this date, April 17th. Apostle Rosalind Solomon said it from the Lord. Watch. Watch. You crying now. You hurting now. But in the long run, you're going to be thanking God. Trust and believe me. Just hang in there. You know, hung in there all 3 years and 5 months. Keep on hanging in there. Don't let him flush you out. Don't let him flush you out. This guy and I had a vision. China chooses in America, so also Russia thinks. Yeah, they here already. I've been telling y'all since 2015, they here already. They supercells. It will open up people's eyes to the truth. Yes. Yes. Truth is being exposed. Amen. Because China trying to bring the social grace go. Oh, yeah, they sure is. They dictate a country. Anytime a man makes himself the president forever, the only time X-Ping is going to get out of it is if he die. Obama and Biden was weak. Yep, they sure was. Okay, I pray wherever you and your family need, that God help you and deliver you in Yeshua's name. We just found out last night that my father-in-law in Thailand has. I pray that he's of the Lord, so God can heal him in Yeshua Jesus' name. Good. Yeah. I'm trying to read before I go. Trump just passed a law, only 32 hours a week, and you won't lose any of your money. Didn't I tell you that in the card Tuesday, Pat? Didn't I tell you when he do that, people wasn't gonna lose anything? I told you. Pat was like, I said, Pat, chill. Now look, I told you. Hello, Juice. How you doing? Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Yes, I remember those days when I used to visit my sister. Okay. They stole the designers' names. Yeah, oh yeah. I'll be forgetting to tell y'all that because me and Pat, we realized that a lot of those designs like Louis Vuitton and all of them, you know, those designs come from Africa. Every last one of them, all these different designer bags, the designs originate from Africa. Black folks make everything, whether you like it or not. I knew Yeshua brought him back, and I knew Trump was exposing corruption. Yep. Yes, there is a state in Texas that they were trying to build a whole community, which the governor did not know about, and he shut it down. Oh, they ain't going to be able to shut what's coming. Because that's going to be the hand of daddy. They're not going to be able to shut it down. Because, see, they know when the church get together, it's over for them. As long as they keep us divided, they can conquer. But when we're not divided and we're united, they can't conquer. And God is going to be doing it. It's going to take some time, but he going to do it. Hopefully we can see it in our time. Hey, Devontae. Asking for parents. Okay, I pray God give you insight when it comes to your children, and I pray that God remove the spirit of misfortune from you in Yeshua Jesus' name, and that he give you the spirit of blessing. All right, guys, I gotta go. So, my members, I'll see you this weekend, and I think I'm gonna do the lunch money thing this weekend because I haven't had time to do it. All right, so I'm definitely gonna do it this weekend. I might do it while we live, right, for like 7 or 8 people. All right, so I'll see you guys, unless God tell me to come on here live next week. I already did TikTok, so I might not have to go on TikTok this weekend. Maybe Instagram, okay? All right, so you guys have a Baruch day and have a good Sabbath. And I have about 21 or 22 tickets left, $55, Cash App, PayPal. Go to the Royal Queen Topic Show 88. Send your proof. I'll send you the info for the thing. You getting fed, free gifts, raffles, buying products and books. Even though it's called Rosalind Solomon's Meet and Greet, the theme is don't die without doing your dreams. I have a special book. It's $10. Everybody gonna get it. You gotta pay $10 for it, right? And I'm gonna be like one of my sisters in the Lord. She the third one, but her vision. She saw me like I did it on Sunday the last time, walking around praying for people, and she said that God used me to cast a demon out of her. I was like, what? And then she told me that there was these 2 ladies sitting somewhere in the conference, and while I was preaching and teaching, they were talking. So I'm letting everybody know now, and when I get there to the conference, no one will be talking while I'm talking. If I'm preaching and teaching, no one will be talking. If I'm walking around prophesying, praying for people, no one will be talking, because that's a demon trying to distract the atmosphere. So I'm letting you all know now, if I catch you talking While I'm talking, you will be escorted out. Whether you paid for your ticket or not, you and your free gift will be escorted out. Because I have some big burly brothers, Travis, Devontae, Marcus. You will be escorted out. If you do not respect me and you sitting there having personal conversations and I'm preaching and teaching or walking around prophesying, casting out demons, and I catch you or someone tells me, you will be escorted out. So if you don't want that to happen and you want to get your money's worth, you want to get delivered, shut your trap when I'm talking, preaching, teaching, singing, going around helping people, letting you know right now. And I will let you know on the first day of the conference too. And the first day, half of it is going to be filmed. So it'll be up on the social medias. All right. So I'll talk to y'all soon. Much love. Shalom.